Welcome everybody. Thank you so very much. My name is Tammy Meltzer. I am Chair of Community Board 1 and Chair of the Hudson River Park Advisory Council. This is our January 13th meeting. This is our Advisory Council and Holiday Get-Together. Again, sorry if you're not in the room with us, but we'll be supporting the park after this meeting. Please sign in on the attendance form. If you need a copy of it dropped into the chat, please let us know in the chat. The meeting minutes from our last meeting will be sent around because we have a video recording of it. We're going to use the YouTube and just take the transcription and clean that up a little bit. And we'll be voting on that at our next meeting in February. So with that, I pass it along to Susan Kent, our second vice president, for our membership update.
Thank you very much, Tammy. Good evening, everyone. Pursuant to our bylaws, the membership committee is required in December of every odd year to review our membership and determine which of our members are in good standing and which are delinquent. And that's determined by whether or not a member has attended at least 50% of the meetings in the current term. The term which started in April of 24 and ran through the end of last year. The membership committee, which is Wendy and myself, went through our attendance records and we found that there were 28 organization members, 25 are in good standing and 3 were not. Everyone, all members, regardless of standing, received a notice from me, and there was a request from the members of in good standing to please just keep our records accurate, forward the names, whether they're continuing or not, of your representative and your alternate with the email, so we make sure that everyone who's supposed to be contacted is. The 3, according to our records, that were delinquent were Borough of Manhattan Community College, Hudson Guilds, and Transportation Attorneys. Now, according to the notice, they have a period in which to challenge delinquency, and if they didn't, the presumption is that the delinquency stands. Community College did reach out to me. They did claim that they had attended the majority of these meetings, and according to they are in fact present. So, in the interest of giving them the benefit of the doubt, the recommendation is that both be them. The other 2, Hudson Guild and Transportation Alternatives, did not respond. Furthermore, according to our records, they have not attended a single meeting in the entire term. So the recommendation as to them is to vote them off. Does anyone have any questions about this, or whether or not they want to discuss any of those members? If not, then I would take a motion. If there's no objection to voting them together, I would take a motion to retain the community college and to vote off Hudson Guilds and Transportation Alternatives. If there's a motion, and I need a second. Second. Okay. All in favor?
If you are a member online, you must vote. So you may vote by, we need to see your smiling faces. I don't care about the virtual background, whatever you got going. And you need to vote, please. Thank you. I see Brian, Tracy, thank you. For those who are just no camera, you gotta have a camera on, not my rules of open meeting laws, so we're trying to be. Got it. Perfect. Thank you, Alex.
Numbers. Yeah, sure.
Robert, can you help by recording the actual numbers?
Just a count so that I
unless you don't heard a vote in favor. I didn't hear a vote against or abstention.
I haven't gotten there yet. I was just trying to determine so that we have a formal count of the number of members of who are voting.
So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 so far online. Children's Run, Ian's the Notebook, MVP. Guy from the Borough President's Office, and Justin. One thing that we do need to see your sunshine faces to vote, please. And Fantastic. Alrighty,
Okay, any opposed? The hands, oh yeah, down your hand if you have already, unless you're voting no.
if you are voting no, please raise your hand at this time. So Yi Wang, oh, just gonna vote right now.
There were no no's. Any abstentions? And, any refusals? You cannot vote for yourself.
If you have unplugged into Zoom and your sound.
Okay, so the motion then passes. At this point, we now have open seats. How many exactly, we will let everyone know. It's an opportunity to share this with other organizations in the community. So that we can hopefully get a number of applications. The deadline is February 15th. So, and the link to the application is on our website. Yes.
We have a draft letter that organizations can send out.
I'm not sure, but I will.
It's the one from last time.
Okay. I will send out an email with that, so make it simple for people, share the draft letter as well. So hopefully we'll have some more applicants. We have therefore at least 2 open seats right now, but I'm not sure the total number. And I think that's it. Does anybody has anything they want to discuss? Back to you, Tammy.
Give me one sec, we're working on the attendance.
Oh, okay.
We need to move the box open. Okay.
Did that go out with the agenda or is there a link?
So,
Oh, there's a link in the agenda. Okay.
all right,
Can I make a comment related to
absolutely.
this? Go ahead.
Yes, really, it might be information from the governor's office. We're happy to share it. Like I said, I think they are doing their best to figure out the facts too, and working with their federal partners and our partners in the Senate.
Beginning of the meeting, that the people that are present, especially the ones online, tend to not forget because they're linking to the agenda. But right here and now, we need to link onto our phones and sign.
And when you sign in, please make sure you're not just signing in as an individual, but representing your organization, because when we do the tallying, that's how we do it. And there were like 2 organizations that I had to go back and look, do a hand count because people didn't sign in correctly. But since Wendy has upgraded our sign-in sheet, it should work more smoothly.
Exactly.
It's pretty good.
And
It is
yesterday, I did make the announcement at the very top of the meeting right before you came in.
You do every single
Because I
meeting.
knew that
So
was
fast.
She does, I swear, every meeting, she opens the meeting with that, please sign in, because if she didn't, I wouldn't remember.
And because I'm also one of the worst offenders about attendance, even though I'm sitting here, I'm like, ooh, and I forget.
Yeah, we couldn't boot you because community boards aren't,
Not subject to.
All right, let's keep moving. So, the next item on our agenda is the Manhattan Cruise Terminal Master Plan. CB4 is to do an update. Let's see, Leslie or Jessica, are you joining us online? So we will move ahead and maybe she'll come back or be in the room in the next 5 minutes. We'll move on to the reminders. The ULURP application for DeWitt Clinton Park North project involves air rights. There's a presentation tomorrow to CB4's Land Use Committee. And I'm gonna put Robert Adberry in line. Do you have anything to add on that, sir?
So this is, folks may remember, we talked about this last March where we gave an explainer on what it is, what's going before the community board. Right now, it was certified at the very end of last year. So it's going through the ULURP process right now. There are 2 sites just north of DeWitt Clinton Park, sort of across from Clinton Cove within our air rights selling district. This air rights sale, unlike some of the ones that have come before us, is essentially sort of contingent. There's not a committed timeline for it. So in previous times when we would go through the ULURP, which is really, obviously the kind of prerogative of the zoning and the community board sort of across the highway, would then immediately trigger into or run alongside the trust making action process, which is our process that we have to do in order to sell air rights. For this instance, because they have not committed to buy the air rights at this point in time, but they're going through the process, the zoning process, which would allow them to receive the sale. We are not moving directly into the sync access process. So that will be at some point in the future. When we hit that point, when they do, if and when they do seek to move forward with the sale, we would then move forward with an official appraisal and then move into a significant action process, which obviously includes the advisory council, a public hearing, and that series of steps for the trust. What's going through right now is the city Department of City Planning and City Planning, the City Planning Commission process, which is on the zoning side, which is across the highway.
Does anybody have any questions? Seeing none in the room, seeing no hands raised online. Great. We'll move on to the next reminder. Tomorrow night, because of course everything happens so quickly, you need to RSVP by the end of today. So I'm just reminding you when you hang up to hit the button. If you would like to go to the New York State Route 9A study, this is about the West Side Highway Mobility and Safety Enhancement Study. This is the second public meeting. It's really important that this is an in-person. Even if they have a remote, it's not going to be robust. It really is about working in the room, and this involves everything from incorporating micro-hub transit onto 9A, getting electric bikes off of the Greenway, everything and anything that you could envision for 9A, including changing. I've seen some of the stuff that they were looking at, and you could propose bridges across 9A, you could propose moving medians, all kinds of different treatments and thoughts. So if you're interested in this, and I know that we've had lots of conversations about how to make the Greenway safer and to get electric motorized vehicles off of the park, then I highly. Thank you.
We have to see that exactly.
I highly suggest that you sign up tonight and you go to this meeting tomorrow.
I don't think you can sign up anymore.
I'll get the links. The event has ended, you cannot, but I will tell you, it's tomorrow it's Wednesday from 6 to 8. Today's Tuesday, is not
Still.
Still, it's 6 to 8 tomorrow, and I suspect if you showed up in the room, you might get in anyway, not to say you should party crash. I might. Okay, I have not seen Leslie yet, so we'll move along. Our Friends update will be in February, which is our next meeting. And we have invited, we will be inviting with the trust, the developer for DeWitt Clinton Park North project to come in. Air Pegasus has ignored our requests and is not coming. So we'll see, we'll keep trying, I'll be polite and persistent, but that's it. If you have additional topics that you want to discuss, or you have agenda items or anything else, we really need you to email us so we can put it. We have a nice tracker that we use to ensure we stay on top of topics. The only other thing that I have is that we are looking to get another update from EDC on the Manhattan Cruise Terminal Master Plan, post CB4. So if they could come and
Can you reach out to them?
I think we did at the end of last year, so I'm gonna rely on the trust to ask for more. Because I do think that the advisory council should be advising the trust and EDC on the thoughts that we have as a group of community.
I can add a little bit. I was at the CB4 meeting that the EDC gave their last presentation to. I'm from Eva from the New York City Water Trail Association. A group of voters shared some additional feedback to CB4, who has drafted an extensive letter to EDC. And so that was being voted on at their meeting last week. And as far as I've seen, there has been no change in the EDC's presentation in the past 6 months.
Yeah, it's discouraging. It tends to be a lot of what I see, anecdotally in my role as community board chair, is that we do a lot of community feedback and haven't seen a lot of the dials moving on the companion side of
The presentation language changes slightly. I've seen the same presentation like 7 times now.
Wendy.
Maybe things will change now, but, going back to Air Pegasus for a second. Have we asked elected officials' offices to help, with their outreach?
I brought it to the trust board meeting. Actually, I was fairly direct at the trust board meeting about it. And I got a lot of nodding heads in the room of sympathy. And we can, with the new electeds, I think, right, yeah. And if push comes to shove, I highly recommend potentially hosting a meeting in the week.
I mean, if you like, I can work on drafting a letter of elected officials.
That would be fantastic. Because it's an odd thing. We want to be a good, they're part of the community. They're not going anywhere theoretically. They declined because they said the Gateway project is stopped. But I mean, the Gateway project is moving along and I get the construction updates every week, so.
That's true.
So, yeah, we'd love that. And I'd be happy to send you the contact. Does anybody have anything else? All right, we will circulate the CB4 letter. So we have that. Unless I can find it online or you can find it online.
I have the draft. It is at least 4 pages.
Yeah, okay, so when we get the final letter, we'll circulate that and then have EDC come back in and see what we can do.
I just had a question. I don't know if there's a representative from the Congressman's office here this evening, but just kind of curious if they've been attending these CB4 meetings or if they're have made a statement at all
About
the, you know, the EDC project and the word app. They, you know, they have to like think to the navigation channel.
I haven't seen anyone from any elected official's office at any of the presentations that I've attended since the early public feedback meetings. Not to say that they haven't been engaged in the process, but.
And I haven't spoken to the office. Just curious.
It's a good question, and perhaps we have EDC come back. We can have Nadler's office present.
Yeah, no, I think
Would you
it's
help
should be
coordinate that?
involved, but I think that's okay.
Tracy Jackson.
Hi, thanks everyone. Can you hear me okay? I'm from Assemblymember Glick's office and I've attended a few of the CB4 EDC meetings on the cruise terminal. And Congressman Nadler put out a statement in November. So I don't know if folks saw that or if I can drop it in the chat. But he was joined by Brad Hoylman Siegel and Linda Rosenthal in asking the EDC to pause the master plan asking for EDC to form a working group of stakeholders and community leaders to give this some more time. The statement says they haven't been given sufficient community involvement. That was on November 13th. So I can drop that in the chat. And Assemblymember Glick is in the process of writing some letters to lots of people, including EDC, raising concerns about the lack of detail about the size and square footage of the proposed terminal building and lack of detail about the impact on the health of the river. So our letters are still a work in progress. We should have them in the coming weeks. But I'm sure we'd be happy to coordinate with the other elected offices as well if there are some shared concerns.
That would be great. Would you mind working with Wendy we're gonna invite Manhattan EDC and the Manhattan through Tara Doss to the February meeting. They were invited for January, they haven't responded, so I kicked back an email saying, hey, we'd love you to come, and present, for February 9th. So if that happens and that is the case, would you mind working with Wendy to make sure Nadler's team and all the electeds are there so they can hear from the advisory council as well, because we'll be doing a slightly different one, obviously, than CB4, because all of our comments is as it affects the park and who controls what, et cetera, et cetera.
I would be happy to work with any of the elected offices. The only thing is the cruise terminal is not in Assemblymember Glick's district, so we would like to defer to the representatives who have the terminal in their districts, but we're happy to support and work with everybody.
Whose district is it?
Linda Rosenthal in the Assembly, and the state Senate seat is vacant.
We could-
Now,
And I believe Eric Botcher in the council.
yeah.
We could reach out to the other offices, Tracy. We'll talk amongst ourselves a little bit.
Sure. Yeah, I'm happy to be in touch with you, Wendy. We can be in touch.
Okay, sounds great.
Yeah, so thank you, Tracy. I just wanted to say that I am a member of WP&E on CB4.
Which
And the
is-
letter, what from Parks and Environment, so I've seen a number of the presentations. And I will say that the letter from CB4 does request exactly what Tracy just mentioned, a working group that will include the community groups and the elected. So that I know is an ask in the letter.
Great. And the EDC was invited for January, they're now invited for February, so we will see how soon that we can get them to come to us, because I do think the more people who hear it, the more people who ask questions. And what I find really interesting is I think the community stakeholders who are on other piers and who surround the Manhattan Cruise Terminal might have different perspectives that they don't consider to bring to the table that would be good. And I personally would love to know who controls the land. Dock department. Yeah, that's fine. Then
We might want to give EDC a chance to hopefully reconstitute itself somewhat, but we'll see that, when it happens. But fingers crossed, because in my long experience, mayors may change. EDC doesn't seem to change in its MO though. Neither does ESD, but then.
yeah, I would agree 110% with you, and my experience being January 13th, things are moving forward on EDC, no matter who's in the big chair. Yeah. Contract signed, see. It's good.
Back to Pegasus, is there something particular that we're asking them to come in for? Was just a general conversation or?
We would love to understand more. Period, as a general conversation. They get a good rap and a bad rap. I mean, I understand they do medical runs, which is life-saving work that they do, which is exactly, which is important and exciting. And then there's other parts of their business that are less exciting for the community. And understanding and having partnership with the community is never a bad thing, it's a good thing. So understanding, are they, for example, I don't think anybody knows, are they looking at the potential of moving forward to eVTOLs at some point, right? So requiring electric for their clientele. Things like that would be really interesting to know and understand. They're a fiscally viable asset for the park and a part of the community, whether we like them or not, is immaterial to the discussion of coming in and talking.
It's one mark at 7 p.m.
Pardon?
It's 7 p.m.
Thank you. So with that,
I think I see, right?
Let's.
I think she just walked by. I don't know, it was a blonde, that's.
She's always great, she's like, we were on meeting on.
Okay, with that on note, I have nothing else left. We have postponed the letter from the Manhattan Cruise Terminal from CB4. When we get it officially, we will circulate it to everybody.
I circulated a copy to you.
Just send it to everybody. Don't have any. Just thank you. That would be really helpful.
Okay.
And then we'll be ready that everybody would have the information for CB4, how they voted, more information from the people who were at the meeting would be great. And so when ideally EDC comes to us, we are all well informed. Okay, does anybody have anything else? Do I have a motion to adjourn? So moved. Second. Thanks, everybody. I'm sorry you're gonna miss cocktails at the end. Bye.
Thank you all. Bye.